Steven, I don't know about you, but I was always raised to wear my sunglasses and hats indoors when I talk to grown folks.
Jay Norvell would hate you.
I know he would.
No.
This is how I'm rolling today.
Good. As you should. You don't look nearly as cool as Deion Sanders does with a hat and glasses, though.
I think I look pretty badass.
Okay. You should do the rest of the show with that, though.
No,
Please.
I can't because I'm not wearing contacts, so I can barely see you right now.
Really?
Yeah. That's where I can put the glasses on. I know. I should have planned it out better, but I can't wear
Brutal.
sunglasses.
You should have worn them the entire time.
I can barely see you. I can't see the comments and everything.
All right. Well, if that's, you know what? If you end up losing wins or wangs, that should be a punishment. You have to wear hats and sunglasses since that hinders your ability to see.
Without contacts in?
Yes, without contacts.
Yeah, that's the whole point. I should just do the whole show without contacts in and see how long I can last. Where am I?
I've never seen you wear contacts. Have I seen you wear contacts?
Yeah, dude, all the time. What are you talking about?
Wow. I guess I never really notice it when you're wearing glasses and when you're not.
Well, that's hurtful. Anyway, just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. It really means you never really look in my eyes. I have another question for you, Stephen. You know how many times I've watched that video that Ernie posted of you just struggling with the hot sauce?
How many times?
I can't even count. It's giving me so much joy.
Why?
Because it's just hilarious of you just going, oh, you're almost gonna.
It looked a lot worse upon replay. Like when I did it, when I ate the hot sauce and I started kind of gagging a little bit, I didn't know that it looked that bad. But upon replay, I was like, I couldn't retweet that. Like I have guidelines to my Twitter account now, so I can't retweet that sort of thing anymore.
I mean, it was pretty hilarious. You convulsing and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I got a new. If you're not into the hot sauce, I got a new idea for something that you could do next time you lose.
Yeah.
So Marcus Thompson joined us yesterday on Tolbert and Copes, filling in for Tom this week,
Okay.
and the Ernies will know about this. He went on a whole thing about back in the day, in the hood in Oakland. They used to have in convenience stores individual pickles from a jar that you could buy. And when he was a kid, he would dip said pickle into a thing of Fun Dip or Kool-Aid. And that was like his weird way of, like, when you're a kid, you're just trying out weird shit, to eat. And Adam Copeland was disgusted by this. So yesterday, Marcus Thompson comes in with these pickles that he found around East Oakland that they sell individually, like big, girthy pickles that are in bags. And he got us some Kool-Aid, like, sprinklings that you could just dip the pickles in. And I had it yesterday, and I gotta say, not bad. But I wonder how you would like that.
I'd be fine with that. I'm a pickle fan. I like Kool-Aid, so mixing the two, I don't think that it is. I don't think that'd be like some sort of punishment for me.
So you think the hot sauce would be worse?
The hot sauce was much worse because it had a physical effect. Like that one, I'd probably eat it. Just kind of like the coffee with mayo. I thought it was going to be like a lot worse. Turns out it was nothing. And then I'm sure pickle with Kool-Aid. Well, if you can make a pickle sweeter in any way,
yeah,
and by doing that, dipping it in Kool-Aid, I'd probably like it.
Okay, well,
yeah,
maybe not. Maybe not a good punishment then.
If Jesse were doing this podcast, then we'd have a bevy of punishments that we could do because she hates a lot of food and food combinations, different types. Very picky eater. Jesse Cardoso is.
Like
my
what?
Future wife. Cilantro. She's one of those who thinks cilantro tastes like soap. I don't know if you know this, but there's like a percentage of the population that legitimately thinks cilantro tastes like soap. And it's crazy. At first, I was very stubborn and I was like, there's no way that anybody else thinks of cilantro this way. It's only you. I'm like, everybody loves cilantro. And then as, we started asking people about cilantro whenever it was brought up, other people said the exact same thing. So there's a segment of the population that thinks cilantro tastes like soap.
I never have experienced that taste before myself. I wouldn't say I love cilantro. It's fine.
I'm a big cilantro fan. I love cilantro. Put it on tacos. That's all I really could think. Guacamole, you need cilantro and guacamole or it doesn't work.
Yeah, I can't say I've tasted the soap taste.
Yeah, I can. There's a segment of the people in this world who actually thinks so, and I think it's genetics because her mom said the same thing. So,
Well, there's also a large portion of the population that hates the word moist.
yeah, there's that.
It's one of my favorite words because it just freaks people out.
See, Ernie's are like cilantro tastes like soap. The other Ernie, I love cilantro. Facts, but there's a bunch of people who thinks it tastes like soap. It's weird. Also, by the way, Ernie asked, Stephen Ashley made it. What happened to the second wedding? Second wedding is in Gilroy today, so I got a little time to do this up here in Walnut Creek before we head over there. So it's later in the afternoon. So it's not like it's in LA like it was last time.
We got time. We got time to do the damn thing today. And we should probably get Jesse on one time to do like what the Kelseys did with their last podcast to kind of dig the dirt on you.
Yeah,
dish out the dirt.
she wants to do a segment. She has opinions. And
Man.
she wants to do a segment called Just Jesse's Opinion, man. And she has
Or just just Jesse's opinion, woman.
Just Jesse's opinion. Yeah, just Jesse's opinion, woman. Just a woman's opinion, something like that. We could do that. A woman's opinion.
That doesn't sound belittling at all. Yeah,
where all she does is talk crap about me.
It's just a woman on sports. That'll be her segment.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. She can dedicate a segment to going off on Brandon Belt, not sprinting to first base. She don't like that.
No, everybody wants to hear that these days.
Yeah, that's a really dated reference. I'm sure people would really like that.
All right. Just a pregame show, man. We will get to all of the picks today and what happened on Thursday night. Let's start there.
Yeah.
So, Eagles win 34-28. They are 2-0, and the Vikings are 0-2. But I ask you, Stephen, and you alone, is there such thing as a bad-looking 2-0?
Yeah.
And would you say that the Eagles qualify for that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's a fine line, right? Because they won. like they're still 2-0. So, like the whole win is a win thing, and you got to take it week by week. That really applies here. And there's a reason that cliche is an actual thing, because week by week, some teams can look totally different. I don't know. Like I texted you earlier. I don't think you were watching the game like very early on in the first quarter. You were still getting back from work, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So early on, like, I'll preface it by saying this: the Vikings had every chance to get back into that game. If anyone didn't watch Thursday Night Football, like the score, it may not reflect it because like it's a 6-point win with a garbage time touchdown, but there was a lot that happened in that game to make it a 2-score game, and really it could have been a lot worse for the Vikings had the Eagles offense actually looked in rhythm. But like early on in that game, Jalen Hurts did like an interview with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit, did the whole production thing. And I texted you and I was like, am I overreacting to this? Because Jalen Hurts said that they are still trying to find their identity as an offense. And to me, if you're doing that still into week 2 and you were one of the most dynamic offenses in the league last year, and literally from the jump, like you could tell this Eagles offense was different, like right from the get-go. So was I overreacting to that? Like, this is not just your overreactions, man. But I was like, an Eagles team still trying to find their identity. Like Al Michaels said it in an uplifting way, but I'm thinking, I don't know if the starting quarterback should be saying that when they're coming off a Super Bowl appearance in the previous year.
I don't think it's an overreaction because I think that's a bad thing to say, as you put it, Stephen, when you had a great season a year ago when your offense was prolific.
Mm-hmm.
What I think is the dealio with the Eagles is
the
dealio.
Jesus.
Is that it's the same issue with Josh Allen with the Bills. They both are given too much freedom in their offense to just do whatever they like at the line of scrimmage, to run around, like obviously there's the play calls, but they call audibles and you saw Monday night, Josh Allen looked like he was lost for whatever reason. I kind of got the same vibe from Jalen Hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
It just seems to me like they're not getting a lot of creativity and help from their play callers. So I think the Bills miss Brian Dable really much.
Hmm.
Because they have Ken Dorsey now,
Yeah.
and the Eagles have Brian Johnson, their quarterback coach from a year ago, calling plays. But I think they really miss Shane Steichen. I thought that even though that they were dominant in the running game with DeAndre Swift, and I made the stupid mistake of starting Rashad Penny, who for whatever reason is in Nick Sirianni's doghouse. I have no clue why they signed him if they're not going to use him. I understand, like, he's a big back, and the whole, tush push.
I'm sorry. I was waiting for this, by the way, the Rashad Penny rant.
Well, it's just ridiculous. Like, I thought they brought in Rashad Penny so they could get away and confuse defenses from that 4th and 1 play they do with the QB sneak.
Right.
That they get a little more creative with that. But no, I mean, like, yes, they were dominant in that game, running the football, but also it was very simple play calling.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about this last year, and I really didn't think much of it because they were so dominant. But Nick Sirianni may be kind of a meathead.
Oh, now you agree.
Well, here's the thing. I wasn't aware last year that he wasn't really an offensive play caller. He has that title, but like, what does he do now? He just runs the team overall. Okay. I mean, a lot of coaches do that, but I don't know, like, he's coming across more and more like his predecessor, actually, Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson, I think, has more of a stranglehold over the offense now with Jacksonville. But back in the day with the Eagles, he was the play caller. But behind closed doors, it was more the case that Frank Reich and even John DeFilippo from the Raiders, who came over to the Eagles, they had more of a say in the offense. And then when those guys left, Doug was kind of picking up the pieces with Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
I kind of get that vibe now with Nick Sirianni, where he doesn't have Shane Steichen to help him out in the offense, and now it's kind of very simplistic. And Jalen Hurts does not look good, in my opinion. You saw the whole altercation with AJ Brown. I want to say something like that happened in the playoff game a year ago against the Giants, where AJ Brown was kind of upset about something. The best part was, this just speaks to Nick Sirianni, was they show it during the game, and Al Michaels didn't, or Kirk Herbstreit wasn't picking up on what was going on, but AJ Brown voicing his displeasure to Jalen Hurts about not getting targets and whatnot. Nick Sirianni chimes in post game. Someone asks Nick Sirianni about that. Nick Sirianni's like, "Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see that at all." And then the reporter calls him on his bullshit and goes, "Well, the video,
you literally broke it up."
Yeah, the TV showed that you interjected." He goes, "Okay, okay,
yeah.
Hey guys, that's in-house stuff," and I'm okay with that. Like, he doesn't need to divulge what went on, but it's pretty clear. Like, Nick Sirianni is like trying to pull a fast one on the media. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, me in the middle of that fight? That wasn't me. That was my twin brother, Dick Sirianni. So, while the Eagles are 2-0, I am not impressed with them whatsoever. They barely beat the Patriots and they barely beat the Vikings. And they really beat the Vikings because of Justin Jefferson fumbling on the 1-yard line. And I'll get to that in a little bit here because I think people always want to rewrite the rule books when things don't go in the favor of a high-profile player.
Right.
But yeah, their defense is not getting stops like they used to a year ago. They're not getting to the quarterback like they used to a year ago.
Yeah.
They only have 4 sacks on the season through 2 games. I have not been impressed with the Eagles, even though they're 2-0.
They're doing just fine getting to the quarterback. I don't think that was an issue. Kirk Cousins was hit a lot in this game. I mean, a lot from that interior line, and
4 touchdown passes though.
Well, yeah, he still had that, but they were still getting to him a lot. I don't think it's getting to the quarterback that's the problem. I still think Kirk and Justin Jefferson are a damn good duo. But I think the issue with the Eagles has been their secondary, and their secondary has just been totally out of sync. Just go watch any of those touchdowns. There's a bunch of miscommunication there. And with the Vikings, I haven't seen they did throw for a lot, but had they had Dalvin Cook,
yeah,
Could have gotten the run game going. Alexander Madison did not look good, though. That was not a reason to get any disgusting, racist,
Yeah,
just
that's
terrible to read comments from people calling him the N-word, saying he should kill himself. It's like, that's just the hell, man. You can't even fathom that type of fan. I get, like for my purposes, I was getting a little antsy because I needed some fantasy points. Damn it, Alexander Madison. I got you as my number 2 or number 3 or whatever. And he didn't get them. That's fine, but I'm not going to send some sort of hurtful, just gross message. But anyway, the thing to me that stood out though, and I wonder this with the Eagles offense, like they did eventually combat what the Vikings were trying to do. The Vikings were just playing a bunch of zone defense, and really their secondary is much improved under Brian Flores. They looked really good. They seem to have a lot of these Eagles guys covered. The tantrum on the sideline, whatever. But the whole thing with them elevating their quarterbacks coach, I can't help but think of the Raiders back in 2016 when they had Bill Musgrave as the offensive coordinator, and they looked pretty good under Bill Musgrave. And then the following year, they hired Todd Downing. They elevate Todd Downing from quarterbacks coach to offensive coordinator. Musgrave goes somewhere else, and the offense just looked flat. So this could be a very similar situation. I want to give credit to the Patriots and Vikings defense, both the first couple of games, because Bill Belichick's really good at stopping what your best player can do. And Brian Flores is also a part of that Belichick coaching tree. So I want to give that Eagles offense the benefit of the doubt. But right now, they do not look very creative. They don't look as dynamic. Although Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith are still pretty sick. Like that 65-yard touchdown was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was wide open, but yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Vikings defense has improved a little bit with Brian Flores, but I don't know. I'm with you, Steven. I think that they hit Kirk Cousins a lot, but just you're not seeing. I mean, obviously it's a different season. They almost set a sack record last year with the Eagles, but it just doesn't feel like, I don't know. It feels like they have a little bit of a hangover, and it is reminiscent a little bit of Todd Downing. I'll never forget him skipping on the sidelines after Amari Cooper scored a touchdown against the Eagles, acting like he drew up a fantastic play when it was like week 16 and we were waiting for that all fucking season.
Yeah.
But Todd Downing actually is growing on me since he in Hard Knocks showed that he's a aficionado for Naked Gun. But
that's Nathaniel Hackett. What are you talking about?
But in that same meeting, Todd Downing's like, we got to teach these kids about Leslie Nielsen.
Oh,
yeah.
Was that him?
That was him.
Huh. I didn't notice that.
That whole offensive room is all about quoting movies.
Ah.
So
all right.
They must be really mad that Aaron Rodgers not around anymore. They got to listen to Zach Wilson quote, I don't know, Miss March.
Book of Mormon.
Not bad. I was trying to think of a comedy that would be up Zach Wilson's alley. One thing that happened in that game.
And don't you dare disrespect Miss March like that. Horsestick.mpeg. Yeah.
I haven't thought about that movie in a long time.
Real ones know.
No, I remember that. I remember that line. Everything else from that movie I can't remember.
Yeah.
Or when actually I can when the girl gets a seizure. Anyway. Yeah. There was one thing that happened in that game. The touchback with Justin Jefferson, where he fumbled on the 1-yard line. And this has been a rule in the NFL for a long time, but for whatever reason, people complain about it. And I was mad when Derek Carr did the same thing when he fumbled in the end zone against the Dallas Cowboys a few seasons ago in 2017. It sucked. But that's the rule. You can't just want to change a rule because it affects your fantasy points or every fucking NFL-related media person on Twitter complains about the rule. Does it make sense that you fumble in the end zone and then it becomes a touchback? Yeah, to me it does because that's a sacred area. So when that happens, you should get penalized for it. So I don't know. I thought the whole outcry for that rule to be changed was ridiculous.
I disagree.
Well, play an Ami string bean.
No, I think you're right in that it's the rule, but I think it's totally okay to be annoyed of the rule. It's a stupid rule. And
why is it stupid though?
Because it impacts the outcomes of games, and you don't deserve that just because you're fumbling out of the end zone. Like, I look at it the same way as like when a say like a punter, punts it inside the 5, but it bounces in the field and goes out of bounds, but it still counts like right there anyway at the spot of where the ball landed. Like, why can't he be called down at where his knee lands? Not so much what happens with the football if he fumbles the football. I don't just fumbling out of the end zone and it counts as a touchback. It doesn't make much sense to me.
I think it tells players you could fumble, but you can't fumble in the end zone. That's going to screw your team up.
I
Like
think
it
it
led.
screws games up. I think it's stupid. It's a
I
stupid
I
rule.
don't
I
think
get
it's
that it's a
stupid at all.
rule. I think it is. So we'll have
I
to agree to disagree.
no. No,
Then
that's fine.
freaking Dove Kleiman went on to tweet about how it's a dumb rule. Now I want to disagree with it. That AI
Exactly.
Dove.
And I know a lot of people have that opinion. I know, my dad and Lund said the same thing, that they think it's a stupid rule. I don't. It's been a rule for a long time. I thought it was sweet. God, maybe like 10 years ago, there was a Monday Night Football game between the Lions and Seahawks, and the Lions were down by 1 point, and they were about to go in the end zone. I think Calvin Johnson was about to score, and then someone stripped him, and KJ Wright recovered the ball in the end zone for a touchback. That's good defense, and that's a great way to prevent somebody from, scoring in the end zone. If they fumble in the end zone, I think that helps.
Yeah. Yeah, but like having it fumbled out of bounds and barely crossing the pylon, like nobody on the Eagles touched it. I just don't think it's a fair rule. If a guy touches it, sure. But
Yeah, but if you cause the fumble, it happens in your end zone. I think that's, I don't know. I think it's penalizing players for not fumbling in the end zone. If it could go from a touchdown to you giving the ball to the other team. I think it's a interesting aspect of the game.
okay.
But agree to just disagree, I guess. All right. So yeah, Eagles are 2-0, but I would not say that they're in the same vein. We'll see what happens on Sunday. But the Niners much more impressive much more impressive in one game as opposed to the Eagles in 2 games, I would
Oh
say,
yeah,
so
for
far.
sure. The Niners are like by what I'm looking at, they're the only team that looked like they played to their standard. I think the Cowboys maybe played a little better than they'll actually be on average this year. They're not going to be outscoring teams 40-0 every single game. I mean, their offense could be putting 40 bucks. Their offense could be putting 40 points up. But other than that, like, I don't know, maybe the Lions are an NFC team that you could be confident in. But other than that, it's like the Niners are the only team where I saw how they played. They dominated, and that's the team I expect to see for the remainder of the season. The other time, I don't know. Like, would the Lions have beat the Chiefs if Kadarius Toney didn't drop all those passes and the remainder of that Chiefs offense? I don't know.
Yeah.
The Rams, are the Rams this brand new team, even though they got a bunch of new players? I don't know. They're going to be tested this Sunday. Like, are the Seahawks going to be that bad? I don't know what to make of week 1 for the NFC teams except the Niners.
All these new guys on the Rams.
Well, I
Put some
mean,
respect on the man's name, Steven. It's
what?
Puka Akua.
Nacua.
Nakua, my bad.
Yeah, Puka Nacua. I picked him
Puka
up in
Nakua.
fantasy.
Slight rhyme, not as good as Rashid Shaheed.
I like Puka Nacua.
Puka Nakua is a good name.
You think he's going to be wearing puka shells?
Nicely done. The best name on the Rams, we've been laughing about this, Adam Copeland and Tim Webb. Rust Yeast. There's a safety on the Rams whose name is Rust Yeast.
God, that just sounds dry, doesn't it?
Well,
what a
yeah.
dry name. Like, when I picture Rust Yeast, I pictured a guy who lives in the desert, goes to Burning Man every
that's
year.
what that's what you're picturing when you say dry.
Yeah. What else would I be picturing?
Yeah, I thought you were having fun with the yeast. Anyway.
Oh, God.
Moving on. Khalil Mack.
Oh, God. Do we have to talk about this?
Why not?
I'm over Khalil Mack talk. So what?
I'll never be over.
All right, so explain to me why this is an important news headline.
It's not, because people are reacting to something that happened a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Why are we reacting to this?
Because someone puts it on a Dove Kleiman type site and then people react to it. But reality is, this is an old story.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack did this interview with Chris Long maybe 2 weeks ago, And this was always a thing that I thought was known to people. Yes, the Niners wanted Khalil Mack when the Raiders were going to trade for him, or they trade him away, and the Niners had a better offer than the Bears did. And then Khalil Mack lets that be known to Chris Long in the podcast, and now everyone's like, "Well, how come the Raiders didn't trade Khalil Mack to the Niners?" Let me reiterate this to everybody. There will never be a trade between the Raiders and Niners. Ever. They do not like each other. The Raiders left the Bay Area because they hate the Niners. Levi's Stadium caused the Raiders to leave. So if you think that just because the Niners give a fantastic offer to the Raiders for Khalil Mack, that they're going to do that, no chance in hell, especially when both franchises were still in the Bay Area. And the Raiders were going to have to live with the fact that Khalil Mack was going to play across the city and just dominate. And then eventually they would have got Nick Bosa and everything. Maybe they probably would have had a better win total. And
They would not have gotten
Bosa.
Nick. How would they have gotten Nick Bosa?
I just said that because they probably would have got more wins with Khalil Mack.
How? Like they wouldn't have a first round pick.
Oh, that's true. So then Nick Bosa would have been a Raider then.
It wouldn't matter. They wouldn't have a first round pick from then, and they probably wouldn't have Brandon Ayuk. So anyone who's complaining about that, they got away with it. That would have been a mistake of a trade. I'm sorry. I know you love Khalil Mack. He's good, but he's not as good right now as these other guys.
Steven.
I'm kind of over Khalil Mack now. He was great back in 2014, 2015. And man, that game against the Panthers, I'll never forget it when he picked that ball off from Cam Newton and ran it into the end zone for a pick six. That was like the peak of being the Raiders at that point. But like, I'm over the whole Khalil Mack thing now. I've moved on. And just to talk about it, like Khalil Mack to the Niners, who cares? The Niners are in this position right now where they look like they're the most Super Bowl ready team out of any team in the NFL in 2023. Who cares about that trade? The Patrick Mahomes thing? Okay, I kind of get that. 2017, you missed out on Patrick Mahomes. Sure, I get that. But a Khalil Mack thing, that's just grasping at straws. I'm over it.
Yeah, I will admit now that Khalil Mack is not the same player he used to be. The fact that he and Joey Bosa have not registered a sack yet, and I think they're two of the best pass rushers in football, something's up where they're just not the same players they used to be. Or it may just be that their defense coordinator is not putting them in positions to win. But when you're playing a Miami Dolphins team with a injured Teron Armstead, who's not on the field, and the Miami Dolphins offensive line is not great, you don't register a sack, something's up. So, yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because I saw people talking about it, and I was like, there was no way that Mark Davis was ever going to allow that.
It's no because way. Khalil Mack brought it up. It's
I know, but also it's 2 weeks old. I don't know why people just when podcasts come out, that's when people should react to shit. I don't know why it takes just because someone posted on Twitter that it becomes a news story. That's just ridiculous to me.
Yeah. Well, it's also just trying to find something to talk about because the 49ers are damn near perfect, and it's hard to talk about a perfect team all the time.
Right, you are. Well, for our case, I guess, then the Raiders have drama because their current pass rusher, Chandler Jones, something's up. This is becoming a problem where he is now not tweeting at Mark Davis, but releasing text messages of private conversations they're having, where Mark Davis is telling Chandler Jones that the Raiders are the most important thing in his life, but also he cares about the players and wants to help him. Then there's guys trying to contact Chandler Jones to talk about his mental health, that Chandler Jones is posting the text messages to his Instagram. It's weird, and it's not looking good, and I don't know what Chandler Jones's future will be with the Raiders. This is becoming really disturbing to me, and he's not going to play again against Buffalo. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to speculate, but this seems like a really, really weird situation, and I don't know what's going to happen.
My opinion hasn't changed since the time we talked about it 2 weeks ago. It actually was a little bit because I was erring on the side of, maybe they haven't released him. Maybe it's improving. Maybe they've talked to him and all that. But then he goes back on social media and keeps up with these posts. And whenever somebody who's in need of help is calling out the people that are trying to help that person, that's when you really know something's up because there's a reason they're trying to help him. I don't know what's going on with him. And unfortunately, the same opinion we have from 2 weeks ago. I think you're probably in the same boat as as I am in this. It's like it's far from just, oh, this was just an outburst. This was just, one misunderstanding. This is something where it seems like he seriously needs some sort of help. And whoever's trying to get it to him, he's not accepting that help. I don't think he should play for the Raiders for the remainder of the season. I don't know, like, what's going on with it. Maybe it can improve, but like they don't need any of this. This is not what you need with your football team. Like you don't need, another all the people he listed as his heroes. You don't need an Aldon Smith. You don't need an Antonio Brown on your team. That's just drama you don't want. Buccaneers, they welcomed Antonio Brown, but look what happened at the Jets Stadium. He ends up skipping off and going crazy. Like, you don't know what can happen, the risk you're taking if you keep Chandler Jones on this team. I don't know where he's at with his headspace right now. And I don't want to say anything because like he's clearly going through something, but I just don't think football is really what he needs right now. And the Raiders.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing that the Raiders are keeping him out until they figure out what's going on. This is an unfair comparison, but I'm going to make it.
Oh,
this reminds me a little bit of Everson Griffin, if you remember.
Yeah.
With the Minnesota Vikings. He had a whole thing during the season where he went to a teammate's house and thought that the teammate was trying to steal from him or something. It turned into a whole thing where the police got involved. And it was a sad situation. He did end up coming back to the team, and he did end up going to, I think, to the Detroit Lions and playing, but something happened to him mentally where he just lost it. And I think that's what's happening a little bit with Chandler Jones right now. Don't know what's going on. Don't want to speculate either, but that situation kind of reminded me of this a little bit.
And the latest with Everson Griffin too is he was arrested for like a DWI, driving while intoxicated or whatever it is. It's not a DUI, but the DWI.
Yeah,
I don't know what that. I forgot what that stands for. But yeah, he was charged for 4th degree DWI and speeding. Was pulled over while driving at around 10:30 a.m. and it was reckless and erratic. So, like, that's the type of path that you're risking when you keep him on the team.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So, speaking of, like, you mentioned this, you kind of just, I mean, you said it's part of the 49ers fault the Raiders left, right? Can you expand on that?
Sure.
It's
just my opinion.
That sounds like a very general statement, and I don't know if is that true?
It's not 100% true, but it definitely led to them leaving. It's not the Niners' fault. They're totally right in getting a brand new stadium with Levi's. But when one team in the Bay Area gets a stadium, then the other team wants a stadium. And that's when the city of Oakland denied them, and that's when the NFL denied them, and they had to move on to Vegas. Now, they could have, it's not the Niners' fault. I shouldn't say that, but when you're in competition with a franchise that I guess has a better history or better finances than the Raiders do, it's going to reflect on them. It's going to, there was the whole talk about them sharing Levi's, but that was never going to happen.
Right.
The Raiders, while they don't have a rivalry with the Niners, I mean, it's a local rivalry. That's why they didn't play the preseason for years. There is animosity between both owners because of the Bay Area ties.
Right.
And the Raiders felt like they never got love in the Bay Area when the Niners did. So, yeah, that's basically why Khalil Mack would never have gone there, and that's why indirectly the creation of Levi's led to the Raiders leaving the Bay Area.
Also, did you see that in the little update from USA Today, the little Bob Nightingale nugget that popped up? He needs to create that as a segment, by the way. I don't know what it's called on his article.
A Nightingale nugget?
Nightingale's Nuggets. It's good. It's
well,
solid.
Sometimes those nuggets are fake.
Exactly. They're really blurry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was trying to take a jab at his Twitter profile picture. He hasn't changed that thing. It's like, Jesus, Bob, like, get a picture of your face that we can actually see.
And every time he would do an interview with us, whether it was with my show or Damon Bruce, his phone line would always go out.
Yeah. That sounds really on brand. But one of Nightingale's Nuggets, Nightingale, was that Oakland could potentially have an expansion team. So what would you say to that? Because that's the interesting thing to me is I read that and it's not going to happen yet, but like there was some high level executive who told him that the two potential expansion cities that could take over in the next 5 years, one is being Nashville, which is led by an ownership group that's Dave Stewart's a part of. And then two, he said if they can find a group and they can uh get a proper proposal to build on a site, Oakland could be another expansion city. But then there's a couple of caveats too. Like they have to do it quick. They have to make the proposal quick. They have to it's going to have to be privately financed, kind of like the Warriors stadium was. You can't, you don't want to make it like the A's and try to lean on a ton of taxpayer money to help build your stadium. And then I mean, that's really it. And the funny part is, like, in this article, Dave Stewart was talking about it, and he's like, I'm actually kind of rooting for it not to happen because our ownership group's doing this thing in Nashville. It got rejected in Oakland, so I'm more going for this Nashville thing, which is pretty funny. I don't know. It's just, do you care more about a baseball team being in Oakland, or is what drew you to the A's the actual brand of the Oakland Athletics? Because whatever the expansion team is, I know people are loyal to the city, but I also think people are really, really loyal to the team.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm loyal to the A's because that's what I grew up with. My dad did the games, and I went to the Oakland Coliseum basically every day during the summertime with him to go watch him and Ray Fosse do a great broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I love those teams. My reaction to that is from Bob Nightingale. I'll believe it when I see it. And also, I really don't like doing this, but I take a grain of salt every time I hear Bob Nightingale have a report because it usually people give shit to John Heyman, but Bob Nightingale, he gets a lot of stuff right.
There's the two. Those are the two guys.
Yeah,
those are the two guys. Yeah,
I remember a lot of stuff that Bob Nightingale has reported over the years that did not come to fruition. So I would say that's extremely unlikely. And MLB having expansion teams, they need to worry about the product itself right now and the 30 teams they have currently, as opposed to adding more, because Major League Baseball is not doing well. So I would be against any expansion in Major League Baseball.
They're going to do it. It's only a matter of time.
Stupid to do that right now.
It's not if, but when. Once the Oakland thing gets sorted out, and then I think the Tampa Bay Rays are going through something too. Once they get all that stuff finalized, that's when they're going to start moving forward with the expansion. So be prepared for that. Plus, I like a team being in Nashville. Go to Nashville for a baseball game.
No, I mean, I'd be all for it, but I don't think it's beneficial to baseball right now. They got to build up their brand right now with the teams that they currently have. But I will say this. If they were going to have an expansion team, I'd be all for. Where does the Field of Dreams take place?
Iowa. What the hell?
I'd be down for an Iowa team.
Come on, man. Is this heaven? No, it's Iowa.
Yeah, just play in that little cornfield. 182 games, the cornfield. I'd be down.
As long as the tickets aren't as expensive. Jesus.
Yeah,
remember those things were running for like $700 a pop.
When it's a novelty thing, like once a season thing, I get that. But if it was, if they're gonna do it like a London NFL game and do it like 5 times a season, then you got to bring those prices down.
It's the most baseball thing ever too, to have 2 relatively successful games, I'd like to say. Ernie, we're not being serious.
Derek's I'm not serious, Ernie. Come on, let me be
Ernie,
goofy.
We're 50% serious in everything that we talk about. But
yeah, as the new Pat McAfee disclaimer says, we're comedic informative.
There's a disclaimer.
Oh, you haven't seen it? It's every time I'm in the studio and there's like a rerun of the Pat McAfee show now on ESPN, I think Jackass is coming on.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, I love Pat McAfee. I think he's great. I just don't get the allure of the show. It's just like, all right, this guy's coming up. Let's clap it up. Oh my, we're going downtown, the pound town. Clap it up, clap it up.
When they ever say they never say let's go down to Pound Town, Dallas
Downtown.
Braden's.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of any name that has the on
Ah,
and in it because that's what they're all about. They're like,
well,
clap it up.
perfect segue. Aaron Rodgers spoke for the first time since the surgery, and he went on McAfee, and I guess he's going to do the Tuesday daily or weekly hits with him, and said he's going to. Well, he actually had the Instagram post where he quoted Harvey Dent. It's always darkest before the dawn, and he will rise again. So it was a mix of Harvey Dent and Jesus. And like a mix of Fergie and Jesus, Harvey Dent. So he said that he's counting out all the doubters and whatnot, blah blah blah. I don't think anyone's like doubting him. I think it's just kind of like I said. I don't think he's coming back. I probably changing my tune now. He'll probably come back, but also I think this was kind of his body telling him like maybe you can't do the things that Brady can. I would love to see him come back. I want to see him come back, but to recover from an Achilles injury at 40 years old is really, really tough. But I would love to see him. I want to see this happen. I'm really still bummed out that we're not going to see Aaron Rodgers this season play with the Jets. Although he did add this, not that I'm really putting much stock into this. He did say that, in the words of Kevin Garnett, anything is possible as it pertains to him coming back this current season. Yeah. Now, the only example of that really happening was Cam Akers tearing his Achilles in July, and he was able to come back in January. But Cam Akers is also much younger. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers has that Wolverine-like ability to heal that fast.
Yeah, I don't think the Jets are going to be making it to that point in the season either. I don't think they're going to be making it past that much further in January than the regular season end. Like I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Where's this talk about Rodgers coming to the playoffs if the Jets are going to be going with Zach Wilson? I saw this from Fortenbaugh, and this is where Fortenbaugh was always so damn good, and where where I wish I could be better in this regard and regarding talking about sports, because I could react and look at it at face value and say, okay, the Jets are going to be going with Zach Wilson for the remainder of the season. But like, I agreed with Fortenbaugh when I saw he thinks that they should trade for Kirk Cousins. Like, Cousins entering the final year of his contract, not going anywhere fast with the Vikings. I know you're not making Justin Jefferson any happier going with that, but like, why not? Why not try to get not a Super Bowl ready quarterback, because all of those guys are on teams where he's not going to be trading them. But I think Kirk Cousins is absolutely a trade candidate, or should be a trade candidate for that team.
What are you trading him for?
I don't know. I don't know.
See, that's the thing, is that yes, we can all have these great ideas, but the reality is they traded a shit ton to get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, we're acting like Zach Wilson is just some undrafted third-string quarterback. He was second overall, and I understand that he hasn't played very well.
I don't care what you say. I'm not going to buy into Zach Wilson. I'm not going to.
A year with Rodgers helping him out. I could see
he didn't have a year with Rodgers. He had 2 months with Rodgers.
He'll be on the sidelines helping him out. I don't think he's going to go away in obscurity.
All right. Well, yeah, that's true. He did do that thing in the preseason.
I think that they could be a playoff team still with Zach Wilson. Their defense is that good where they can probably maybe still be the 7th seed in the AFC.
I don't know about that one. I don't know. That's going to be fascinating down the line. Also, like, I don't know, just Rodgers being smug. Like, we're back to that. And also, it's the same way I look at the Khalil Mack thing. When are we going to stop doing the whole vaccinated, unvaccinated argument? Like, when McAfee brought that up and he's like, oh, Keith Olbermann said that. Yeah, let's use the guy Keith Olbermann, who's like the worst example of someone who is on the very, very strongly on one side of things and opposed to the other, instead of actually having an open mind. Like, I'm so tired of the whole vaccinated, unvaccinated jokes because, of course, he calls out Keith Olbermann, and then you get a whole bunch of people who call them a king and like idiots who got the vaccination anyway. And it's like the vaccine. It's all of it. I'm just over vaccine jokes, talk, debates, everything. Let's move on.
Yeah, I am tired too.
Just
even though, as
so
Ernie,
bored of it.
even though Ernie and just pointed out, there's a video earlier this week where we did the whole Aaron Rodgers thing at KMBR, and I had a vaccination line in there. Yeah, it was just a quick little line for Rodgers, but I'm not a fan of that anymore. I'm not.
It's like they're not funny. Like the jokes aren't funny on both sides. None of them. Although when Djokovic won the U.S. Open and like his game winner was the Moderna shot of the day, there's irony in that. That's really funny when he's unvaccinated and like one of the leading vaccination companies, pharmaceutical companies, whatever you call it, it's their shot of the day. That's funny. But like, just, I don't know. I'm so over all of that.
No, I am too. And I think Rodgers is too. I think we all forgot about that with Rodgers, but for whatever reason, McAfee had to bring that up again.
He said a joke on Keith. Everybody clap it up. Clap it up.
Yeah. I don't care anymore. I don't.
Over it.
Over Olbermann. Should we do these picks for week 2?
Absolutely.
And hopefully you can avoid drinking that hot sauce again.
Dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do if I lose again, because I do not want to do that.
Pickles and Kool-Aid, baby.
My stomach was ruined after that. It was fine the next morning. I'll be completely honest. It was okay the next morning. Like, I've done worse things to my body as far as what I've eaten, but I don't know if I could do that at 8:30 at night when I got to go to bed like a half hour later. My stomach was feeling like there was just lava sitting in there.
Yeah, maybe we plan it out a little bit better where we'll do the punishment on Saturdays, so that you don't have to go to bed wondering if you're going to poop the bed or not.
Maybe it shouldn't be the spoon that's the vessel for the hot sauce. Maybe hot sauce on a pickle and Kool-Aid. Up it, level up, pickle, Kool-Aid, hot sauce, boom.
You also need like a Hot Mama pickle. That's what I had yesterday.
A Hot Mama pickle?
That was the brand that or the flavor, I guess, that Marcus Thompson picked. There was 3 different kinds. There was the Big Papa, which I didn't get for some reason.
Huh.
There was the Garlic Joe, and then Hot Mama. That's what I got.
And you got the Hot Mama.
And I was cool. I was good with the Hot Mama with a little bit of lemon lime Kool-Aid twist.
So instead of getting the hot or the Big Papa, you got the Hot Mama.
Mm-hmm.
Good choice.
All right. Let's do another edition for week 2's edition. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Week 2's edition of Wids or Wags.
Ooh. We're going to go with the Hard Knocks name because why not?
All right. Ooh. All right, let's do this, Steven. I am up 2-1 on my pick on Thursday. You picked the Eagles to win. You laid the points, and you got the under. Only Philadelphia hit. I got the Eagles right. I got the Vikings covering, but I didn't get the under right. So I'm up 2-1 on you. So you got to catch up.
Oh, man.
Here we go. Ooh, good timing. Yeah. Green Bay at Atlanta. Both 1-0. The Falcons are 1.5-point favorites, and the over/under is 40.5.
Ooh, you got the 1.5. That's what I got too. And you got 41?
40.5.
40.5? Okay. I got 40. It's the same thing. So what I got here, I got the Packers winning this one.
Ooh.
Yeah. But that's what I initially had. And now I'm thinking of changing it. It's the Falcons.
Jesus.
Falcons first homer.
What are you talking about? They were home last week.
Oh, really? Was there? Okay. Yeah. I'll take the Falcons to win this one at home over the Pack.
Okay.
I think the Falcons' offensive line is good enough to stall that Packers' defensive line, which actually looks pretty good. And I also think that secondary and the Falcons is going to stymie Jordan Love. So yeah, give me the Falcons in this one.
Stymie and Guru.
And I will take the under.
Taking the under, so you're laying the points, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I am going to do the same, but I'm taking the over. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game between these two teams, but I'm taking the Falcons to win, and I'm going to lay the points. Colts at the Texans. A little rookie quarterback duel. Although we may or may not see C.J. Stroud. He is questionable for Sunday's game. However, those Houston Texans are still 1-point favorites, and the over-under is 39.5.
This is another tough one.
I feel like you should make these picks with Lee Shriver's voice.
I can't do that off the cuff. What'd you have as the spread again?
1.
1. All right. Yeah, it's kind of a pick 'em, really.
Anthony Richardson and
whatever.
CJ Stroud are dueling rookies this weekend.
I think the Texans defense actually looked pretty good. So I'm going to take the under, and you know what? I'll take the Texans to win. I just think they'll win at home, and I don't really trust the Colts in their running game or their passing game right now. I think the Texans will get the better of them.
While the Texans do seem like they have a defense on their hands, I do not believe in their offense. I don't see anything on their offense besides maybe Dameon Pierce and Devin Singletary that I like. CJ Stroud still figuring things out. I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts to win. And I'm going to go under on that one.
Okay.
All right. Then we got the Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. Seattle surprisingly 0-1, while the Lions are surprisingly 1-0. How about that? And the Lions could be 2-0 for the first time in God knows when. They are 4.5-point favorites, those Lions, and the over-under is 47.
God, that's a high. Give me the over. Give me the over in this one. I'm too scared to take the under. And you said 4.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I got here too. I think the Seahawks can make it close, but I think the Lions are going to win. So give me the Seahawks to cover, Lions to win, and I'll take the over. Close game. I think it's going to be a fun game. Low-key fun game.
Yeah. You should take the over because a year ago, I think this game was 45-41 between these two teams.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely taking the over. I'm taking the Detroit Lions to win this thing, and I'm laying the points. I actually think it's going to be a high-scoring affair, and I think the Lions are going to pull away and start proving to people that they are legit.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal, too. The tackle for the Seahawks, Lucas, is on IR. So I think both their starting tackles went out of that game against the Rams, right? Charles Cross and Lucas both were out of that game.
Yes.
I think Cross is back, but Lucas is on the IR, so they're missing one of their starting tackles. Interesting.
Very interessante.
Even Hutchinson about it.
Then we got the Chicago Bears traveling to Tampa Bay. Did you see this video, by the way, where Baker Mayfield, Chris Godwin, and Rashid White all try to do as much Drake references as possible?
Yeah.
How stupid.
Yeah, that's a really great for, 3 years ago. I mean, the fact that they couldn't name any recent songs just goes to show how much Drake has fallen off. Plus, Drake's creating this new album, and I heard one of the singles off it. God.
That reminded me of last podcast with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 1-0, while the Bears are 0-1, and the Bucks are 2.5-point favorites, and the over/under is 41.
Surprising that the Bucks are the favorites. I'm going to take the Bears to win outright in this one. I actually think they'll get back on track here, and then, God, it's not a. To be honest, this is an ugly game. I guess I'll just take the under. I'll just take the under there.
I'm with you, Steven, because I thought I was going to be alone here. I think the Bears are going to win this game.
Yeah.
And I understand why the Bucks are favored, but I wasn't really that impressed with the Buccaneers, and I don't think they're going to be that good of a team.
They had a fine couple of drives, but outside of the highlights, the Bucks looked like the Bucks, and I think a lot of people might have looked past that.
So I'm going to take the Bears to win, and I'm going to go over. I think this is going to be, over under 41? Yeah, I think both teams score in the 20s.
I'm scared to go over anymore because of everything last week. Last week I'm looking at all these games. God, these are low scoring. The over's not going to hit on anything. And I picked a lot of overs last week.
Yeah, but you could see some. I mean, defenses are trying to figure things out too now, so you could see a little more high scoring.
That's the thing about betting nowadays. You can't really predict how teams are going to look. I told you, in my opinion, it's that first 4-week window. You really have no idea which team you're going to get.
We shall see. And then we got the Las Vegas Raiders playing against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Bills coming off that bad performance on Monday Night Football. The Raiders with an impressive win in Denver. But you and I both know that the perfect thing, the perfect remedy for a struggling, high-profile player like Josh Allen is a good old pick-me-up game from the Raiders. The Bills, despite losing last week, are 8-point favorites over the Raiders, and the over-under is 47.
I'll have the Bills win. I'll have the Raiders cover. I think I think it's a big spread. I don't think they're going to crush them that badly. And that Bills game, I'm trying to remember, like, what did it look like with the the Jets defense is still, or the Bills defense rather, still okay. Give me the under in that. I'm not going to see it as too much of a high scoring game. Maybe one like this past Thursday, which whatever, screw it.
This is where we start to question the Raiders a little bit. They had a good win last week, but I think this is where they get picked apart a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the Bills to win. I'm laying those 8 points, and I'm going over. Not only do I think the Bills win this game, I think they score in the 40s, and I would maybe put even money on Josh Allen throwing 5 touchdown passes.
Not a bad bet.
I think he's going to come back and kick the Raiders' ass, unfortunately.
Pick them apart, yeah.
The Chargers at the Tennessee Titans. Despite their loss, they are 2.5-point favorites, while the Titans lost last week, but to a 1-point loss to the Saints. Chargers 2.5-point favorites, and the over/under is 45.
I'll take the over, but I think the Chargers are going to crush them. I think a lot of that is going to be the Chargers in scoring. So I like that offense is dynamic. I don't care what anybody says. And that defense, a little suspect, but that offense for the Titans also a little suspect. So I will lay the points with the Chargers. Give me the over because the Chargers are going to score a ton.
I am going to do the same exact thing. Despite it sounds like Austin Eckler not playing in the game, Joshua Kelly running pretty well for the Chargers. That was their bread and butter a week ago. They ran the ball very well. But I think they're going to air it out. They're going to have to air it out a little bit more. And the Titans' secondary, besides Kevin Byard, not the best. So I'm going to take the Chargers, the same exact thing as you, Steven, laying the points and the win and the over. And then we got the Baltimore Ravens going to Cincinnati, where Cincinnati had no life offensively a week ago, but they were, dealing with Joe Burrow's injury, and he came back for the first time in a while. Despite the loss last week, the Bengals are 3-point favorites, and the over/under is 46.5.
That Browns offensive line that Bengals offensive line rather got rocked in that last game. I'll take I don't think the Bengals are going to come back from that. I think they looked poor the first couple of weeks last year. I think it's going to be the same this year. With the way they looked in week 1, I just don't see it. So week 2, I see the Ravens winning this one. And what was your over/under at?
46.5.
46.5. Yeah, give me the under.
Wow. That Bengals offensive line did struggle. They just released La'el Collins, so they feel comfortable with Jonah Williams playing right tackle and Orlando Brown being a left tackle. I think that the Bengals just needed a week. Little pick-me-up. The hell's that face? What the hell was that?
I just saw that their 2 starting linemen are out of this game, and I didn't know that for the Ravens.
It's too late.
I feel good about the under, but I'm not feeling good about my pick. Anyway, continue.
Oh, I feel better about the over, my friend. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals to win. I'm laying the points, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I'm taking the over.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
And then we got a dandy. The Chiefs at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Sounds like Travis Kelce's back, and it sounds like Chris Jones is back. Saw Travis Kelce twerking, seeming like he had a leg injury or knee injury, and then he did the old who was the U.S. or maybe not U.S. but the soccer player that did that, where she pretended like she had a knee injury and then shake your butt.
I don't remember her name.
Anyway, and Jason Kelce denying rumors that Travis and Taylor Swift are an item. How about that?
He didn't deny those rumors.
He didn't deny. He didn't confirm them either, though.
No, but he said Trav's having some fun.
Yeah, but apparently they're not a thing, I guess.
Are they not? I don't buy that.
Who really cares?
But
In
also,
the end,
I'm sorry, but if you're going to if you're a celebrity and you're going after like a celebrity, if you're going for being a celebrity power couple, why would you choose the one person who's known to create breakup albums and make a ton of money off that? Like, no, I'm not going to be the subject of your next album if things go south.
Travis Kelce was having a nice life until he met Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
And now she ruined his life with this song, Catching Kelsey Sucks.
It's me. Hi. Taylor Swift's the problem. That's me. I'm Travis Kelce.
I don't get that. Okay, anyway, this game, the Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites, and the over/under is 51.
I think the Chiefs are just going to come back, lay the points with the Chiefs. I'm going to go over. The Jaguars looked okay, but they kind of looked out of sorts too. I'm just going to go over in this one. I think it's going to be a high-scoring one. Chiefs get the better of them.
I'm going nuts here. I'm taking the Jags to win.
Why?
Why not?
All right.
Jags are home. They lost to this team in the playoffs a year ago. Could happen. So
Maybe.
I'm doing it.
But Andy Reid's had 10 days to prepare for this one. He's not going to go out like he did on that Thursday night game.
And Doug Peterson's had 6. I'm taking the Jags.
Doug Peterson had sex?
I'm assuming he did. He cut his own son from the team.
In a visor?
I'm going over. Jags win. Taking the over.
Really special.
Giants at the Arizona Cardinals. Budda Baker may not play. All these guys dropping like flies on the Cardinals. The Giants are 4-point favorites, and the over/under is 39.5.
How is any? Just give me the Giants. Give me the under. Lay the points with the Giants. How is anyone going to call this game? We don't know what the Giants are made of. The Cardinals are the Cardinals. Oh gosh, this is any game against the Cardinals, I guess, is going to be one I don't want to watch. But one with the Giants, yikes.
I'm with you, Steven. I agree with exactly the same. I think the Giants win. I'm laying the points. I'm taking the under. Even though they lost 40-0, I think they're a better team than what the Arizona Cardinals are putting out there. And yes, Ernie, this is the 50-year anniversary hat with the patch on the side. You can see right there. Next game, Commanders at the Broncos. Broncos barely lost to the Raiders last week, and the Commanders barely won against the Cardinals. What gives? The Broncos are 3.5-point favorites, and the over/under is 39.
This is again where I can't go with the over there. I think the over is going to be a shocker. So give me the under in that. What's your spread again?
39. Oh, sorry, 3.5.
3.5. And Denver's favored, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I got to do. Give me Denver to win. And I'll have the Commanders covering that spread. I feel good enough about that. Where it's going to be a close one. It's going to be an ugly, ugly game.
I actually think points are going to be scored. And I think Jerry Jeudy's playing, and I'm taking the Broncos to win. I'm laying the points, and against my better judgment, I'm laying the over. Yep. Then we got the San Francisco 49ers going to the Los Angeles Rams, or, as the fans call it, Levi's West, or South, or whatever the fuck. Because so many fans come up from the Bay Area, and the Rams don't have a great fan base. Rams looked good last week, but so did the Niners. Despite all that, the Niners are 7.5-point favorites, and the over/under is 45.
I think the dominance is going to continue for the Niners. Lay the points with the Niners. Give me them to win, and the over/under. Give me the over.
I think this game's going to be closer than people think. I think the Rams defensively have a little bit of something with Russ Yeast. It's a divisional game. I think Sean McVay could scheme it up against the Kyle Shanahan-led Niners. So I'm taking the Niners to win. But I think the Rams cover, and I'm going under. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Why are you laughing at me?
I'm just thinking of Rusty Yeast. It sounds like the evil twin of Russell Wilson, like the Russell Cooking days. Russ Cooking, Rust Yeast.
That'd be hilarious if he picks him off. Picked off by Rust Yeast. It's an affection on this defense. All right, anyway.
Puka Nacua and Rust Yeast. Not a better team. You know, if you had to give me the power rankings for best teams or best names on each team, probably have to go Rams number 1.
I think so, too, between Puka Nacua Russ Yeast.
Yeah.
Our first reminder that Aaron Rodgers no longer plays quarterback for the Jets for this season. You got the Jets with Zach Wilson at the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys are 8.5-point favorites. The over-under is 38.5.
Lay the points with the Cowboys. Give me the over.
You think it's going to be a domination sensation?
I do. I think the Cowboys can. I mean, it's a tough Jets defense. I know that, but 38.5 I think is enough to where they can get over. I think this can be like a game where it's like, I don't know, 27 to like
Nothing.
18 or something. I don't know, some bizarre score like that.
I'm taking the Cowboys to win, but I do think it's going to be a close game, a defensive game. So I'm going to take the Jets to cover, and I'm going to go under. It's going to be more of a defensive-oriented game.
Probably the smart move.
Then we got the Miami Dolphins going to the New England Patriots, where the Dolphins are road favorites at 3, and the over-under is 46.5.
Oh, boy. I think because they're going up against Bill Belichick, I don't think they're going to get nearly as much space to score. It's interesting because McDaniel's kind of like innovated this new style of offense with Tyreek Hill, but Bill Belichick is so good at stopping the strength. So I'm going to go the under on this one. I will lay the points with the Dolphins. I do think they're going to win after all, but because I think the Dolphins defense can at least get to the Patriots offense. So yeah, give me the under and just lay the points with the Dolphins. It's going to be an interesting matchup.
I thought Mac Jones looked a lot better than people think of him last week against the Eagles defense. And the Patriots will be home sporting those old Boston Patriots uniforms with the red.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going with the Patriots to win, and I'm going over. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I like that. Then we got a doubleheader on Monday night. 2 divisional games. The New Orleans Saints go to Carolina, where the Saints are 3-point favorites, and the over-under is 39.5.
Give me the under in this one and lay the points with the Saints.
I'm doing the same. By the way, I texted you about this.
Oh, yeah.
The Derek Carr commercial, the UFOs, those shoes, little slip-on sandals, where he's staring at a picture of a lion. He's like, when I was a kid, my dad told me about, this picture of a lion or something. It's ridiculous.
Are you telling me it's worse than the all denim between he and his brother?
No, that was bad. That was worse.
Okay, good.
I'll explain more after these picks, but it just looked it's a bad commercial.
Okay.
Lastly, the Cleveland Browns go to Pittsburgh, where the Browns are 2.5-point favorites, and the over/under is 38.5.
I don't think it's going to be nearly as much of a beatdown as it was last week, but I think this Browns defense can give the Steelers offense some fits. 38.5 is a really low number, but screw it. I'll take the over just in case there's any points, but I think the Cleveland Browns are going to win in Pittsburgh, so lay the points there.
Not so fast, my friend. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers had a bad outing against the 49ers, but I think they come back. They don't want to lose 2 games in a row at home to start the season. I'm taking the Steelers to win.
Okay.
I'm going under.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right.
All right. Yeah, that Derek Carr commercial is ridiculous.
I didn't watch it. Where could I find it?
It's on YouTube somewhere, but it's just him comparing himself to like a lion. He's like staring at a picture of a lion, and then it's him working out.
Yeah, his choice in commercials can get a little bit of work. It's like, his choice of commercials, trying to win football games, same thing.
Yeah. Last week we talked about, last time we talked about Terry Bradshaw. Maybe needs to hang him up after his struggles with doing a highlight for Fox. You hear Al Michaels on Thursday night?
Yeah.
It's calling Lincoln Financial Field Veterans Stadium, which has not been around since 2004. It happens. But there was a clear moment where Al Michaels was talking to the truck live on the air. All you heard was, uh-huh. Yep. Okay. Gotcha. Yep. All right. So breaking news, Aaron Rodgers has sent out this Instagram post. This is it.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Some news updated, of course.
Oh man. Oy.
Now, either that's on Al Michaels' producer talking his ear off when he couldn't really talk at the same time, or maybe it's just Al Michaels not giving a fuck at this point in his career, just being like, all right, whatever. They're talking to me. I'm not going to act like I'm not being talked to right now, so I'll just talk when they're not in my ear.
It's always a bit of both. It's always a bit of both. I mean, I guess it's like the host's, it can be the host problem, but also it's on the producer to kind of let them know if they're on the air, and the host should know, or the producer should know within that little 15 seconds of time of pregnant pause to him to go, okay, someone should have let him know, hey, your mic's on. But we called it for the Chargers Jags last year, man. I mean, that's kind of the Terry Bradshaw thing's more new. We've been calling for Al Michaels to be off the broadcast since last week. Like, all the respect in the world to him. Of course, everything that he's done, just iconic call after iconic call. But the way that he called that Chargers Jags game last year, just so bored, so out of it, just clearly doing it for the money. It's not what the game needs right now.
Do you believe that I couldn't give a shit? Yes.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we're having an earthquake. Can you imagine if we have an earthquake now? Just like, oh,
yep.
Oh,
okay.
So we're going to go off the air now.
It almost felt like that was a perfect moment, though, for like a 30-second, like how they have like in-game commercials now?
Yes.
That would have been a perfect moment just to have a quick thing so my Al could not talk.
That's probably what he thought was going to happen.
Yeah, but Amazon doesn't do that, I don't think.
Oh.
It's weird because Amazon is not a TV network, and they have select commercials.
Yeah, and then just promoting all their movies and stuff that nobody watches.
Yeah, they're big on, you're watching a football game, and coming up, The Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Actually, The Marvelous Miss Maisel is really good. You ever seen that?
No, but I hear it's actually good.
It's fantastic, and you'd love it considering you wanted to get into stand-up comedy, and she's Jewish, so there you go.
All right. You haven't dabbled with the YouTube TV on a Sunday yet, have you?
No, not yet.
I will say my first week, my review of it, it's really good. Especially the 4 quad box thing. Having 4 games go on at once.
My brother sent me a picture of it, and he's like, this is a whole new life, whole new world of football. It's maximum football.
No, it's incredible. I have 2 TVs, so I got one going on the quad box and one going on Red Zone. They actually did a really good job, YouTube TV.
Nice.
Tip of the cap to you. All right. How much does Colorado beat down Colorado State tonight?
Oh, by 30, at least.
Yeah, there you go. Steven has it by 30.
Trivia question. Jay Norvell used to coach for?
College team?
The Oakland Raiders in 2002 during their Super Bowl run. He was the tight ends coach.
Ooh. Yeah, he's not having a good week.
No, he's not.
So he was coaching Doug Jolly?
Yeah.
Nice. And who was also? Roland Williams? Anyway, that's my knowledge for 2002 Oakland Raiders tight ends. All right, everybody, we'll be back next time. And next Tuesday, we'll review what happened in week 2, review the picks, and hopefully Steven doesn't have a freak out where he has to eat hot sauce again. I actually want to try mine out, so I don't want to lose, but kind of interested in how that those hot sauces up.
I don't want you to try to bomb. That stuff's going to ruin you.
Yeah, I can't, like, I'm making fun of you, but I can't wait for my freak out when that happens.
If I lose, I don't know. I don't feel good about my picks this week. No one take my picks if you're planning on using these to bet.
After all that, all those picks were shit. Don't listen to me.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks to the Ernie's as always. Thanks to everybody listening and watching. And Steven, say what you always say.
And it's just our opinion, man.